And so for my team specifically, I had an opening, and the first sort of round of interviews was very traditional, much like you would expect with behavioral based and questions, et cetera. But the second round was a case study. And so all of the candidates were presented with the same case study. They had the same amount of time to prepare for that case study. And they had to come and present the case study, focusing on the top skills and the things that were required for the role. Doing things like, and it wasn't, specifically outlined, but doing things like following up. Hey, do you have any questions? Or, the things that I can answer for you, connecting with their peers because they're the panel or the case study was the panel of their peers, people who they were going to work with, connecting with them as they were preparing for the interviews were, all of those things kind of lead into being able to demonstrate what skills you bring to the table, and also allowed us, like I said, to kind of level the playing field because there were some candidates who, I knew personally. And, I could have easily hired for likability. But, we used that case study as a really good way to give everybody a fair shot at getting a job. Yeah, so the care circles, they actually are a component of the work that we do in our employee resource groups. And so they kind of evolved out of organic conversations and listening sessions where, employees were who were experiencing the same thing. And in the chat or in the webinar saying, oh gosh, yeah, you should go check this resource out, or you should look into the other thing. The number one key is to just listen. I've been to so many listening sessions where the the facilitator has come with an agenda. So they have a question that they want to have answered.
Uh-huh.
And so, they kind of steer the conversation to that point. And yeah, it's okay to make sure that you got it right and that you ask a clarifying question, but it really has to be from the perspective of, hearing what that person has to say. And then also, there's a huge amount of cultural humility has to go into listening sessions where you're not valuing or devaluing someone based on their experience or based on their words, but really like, coming to a listening session from a place of empathy and grace and mercy in a lot of ways, and just kind of understanding that people can't change their lived experience and you can't interpret their lived experience. You just have to and sometimes you can't even understand it, but you just have to accept their lived experience for what it is, and then taking that information and really using it as a data point, and not as a reflection on me personally or a reflection on the topic, but really looking at it as a data point and knowing that you need you know, all of the data points from the left to the right to really balance, and determine what you can do. Sometimes you can't do anything but just listen.